If you've ever searched Amazon FBA on YouTube or Instagram, you've probably seen it. A screenshot. Big numbers. $40,000 this month. $100,000 in sales. And the unspoken message is always the same. This could be you. But here's what no one puts in the thumbnail. How much of that money actually stayed with the seller? Because revenue looks exciting. Profit is boring, and most content stops right where the real story begins. Amazon FBA is often sold as this simple idea: find a product, send it to Amazon, and let the system do the rest. And technically, that part is true. Amazon does do the rest. But what they don't tell you is how many hands touch your money before it ever reaches you. So in this video, we're not talking about motivation or hype. We're doing something much more useful. We're breaking down exactly where the profits go in Amazon FBA step by step. No fear, no selling dreams, just the math and the reality behind it. Most people are introduced to Amazon FBA in a very specific way. A YouTube thumbnail, a tweet, or a reel saying something like, "I made $10,000 this month selling on Amazon." And naturally, the brain fills in the gaps. You imagine someone finding a cheap product, sending it to Amazon, and then just watching money roll in, almost like a vending machine for cash. And to be fair, that idea didn't come from nowhere. Amazon FBA is marketed as simple. Amazon themselves say, "Send us your products, we'll handle the rest." So in your mind, FBA becomes this clean equation. Buy low, sell high, keep the difference. But here's the problem. That equation skips over everything in the middle. Fees, ads, storage, returns, cash flow delays, the boring but deadly stuff. So when people say Amazon FBA is passive, what they usually mean is they haven't yet seen the full profit breakdown. Because the work isn't just operational, it's financial. And once we start breaking that down, you'll see why so many sellers are shocked when their first payout hits. Before we zoom into individual fees, you need to understand the order in which money moves inside Amazon FBA. This is where most people get confused. They think money comes from the customer straight to them, and then Amazon charges a few fees later. That's not how it works. In Amazon FBA, Amazon sits in the middle of every transaction. The customer pays Amazon, Amazon holds the money, and then Amazon starts paying everyone else, including itself, before you ever see what's left. So imagine money entering a pipeline. The first stop is Amazon's referral fee, then fulfillment fees, then storage, then ads, then refunds and adjustments, then taxes. And after all of that, whatever survives gets transferred to your seller account, usually weeks later. This is important because it changes your mindset. You're not earning money and then paying expenses. Your money is being filtered through Amazon's system, and you only receive the remainder. Once you see FBA like this as a distribution system, not a sales shortcut, the rest of the breakdown starts to make sense. And now let's start with the very first cut Amazon takes. The moment a sale happens on Amazon, the very first thing that comes out is the referral fee. This fee is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if you're new, experienced, profitable, or struggling. Amazon takes this cut every single time. In most categories, the referral fee is around 15% of the selling price. And notice what I said there, selling price, not profit. So if you sell a product for $30, Amazon instantly takes about $4.50. Even if your product costs you $29 to make, Amazon still takes its $4.50. This fee exists because Amazon gives you access to its marketplace, traffic, and trust. You're essentially paying rent for being inside Amazon's ecosystem. The reason this matters so much is psychological. Many beginners mentally treat this as a small fee. But when margins are already tight, 15% off the top is huge, especially because this happens before fulfillment, storage, or ads are even considered. Think of referral fees as the entry ticket. You haven't even started the race yet, and you're already lighter. After the referral fee, the next major deduction is the FBA fulfillment fee. This is the cost of convenience. Amazon picking your product from the shelf, packing it, shipping it to the customer, handling customer service, and dealing with returns. For a small, lightweight product, this might be around $3 to $5 per unit. For larger or heavier products, it can go much higher. And again, this fee applies to every sale, regardless of whether you made a good profit or barely broke even. Now, here's where many sellers get confused. They compare FBA shipping to shipping something themselves and think, oh, Amazon is expensive. But the truth is, Amazon isn't just shipping. They're running a full logistics operation on your behalf, and they charge accordingly. The real issue isn't that fulfillment fees exist. The issue is that many products simply don't have enough margin to support them. So when you stack referral fees and fulfillment fees together, a big chunk of your selling price is already gone before your product cost even enters the picture. Storage fees are one of the most underestimated costs in Amazon FBA, mainly because they don't hurt immediately. They're quiet, they show up monthly, and they punish you for one simple mistake: selling slowly. Amazon charges you for storing your inventory in their warehouses. The fee depends on how much space your products take up and what time of year it is. During most of the year, storage fees feel manageable, but during Q4, October to December, they jump significantly. This is where many sellers get trapped. They order too much inventory because they want lower manufacturing costs, or they're overly optimistic about sales. Then sales slow down, and now, every single month, Amazon is charging them rent for products that aren't moving. If inventory sits too long, Amazon can even charge long-term storage fees, which can completely wipe out profits. This is why experienced sellers obsess over inventory turnover, not just sales volume. On Amazon, fast-moving inventory makes money. Slow-moving inventory bleeds money, quietly, consistently, and often unnoticed until it's too late. Now let's talk about the cost that sellers usually understand, but still underestimate: cost of goods and shipping. This isn't just the price you pay the factory, it's everything required to get one sellable unit into Amazon's warehouse. That includes manufacturing, packaging, labeling, international shipping, customs duties, inspection fees, and sometimes prep center costs. So a product that costs $4 to manufacture can very easily turn into an $8 or $9 landed cost by the time it's ready to sell. This matters because sellers often calculate profit using factory prices, not landed costs. And that creates a false sense of margin. On paper, the product looks profitable. In reality, it's already struggling. Shipping prices also fluctuate. Fuel costs, global disruptions, seasonal demand, all of these affect your bottom line, even if your selling price stays the same. So when we talk about product cost in Amazon FBA, we're not talking about a single number. We're talking about a moving target. And if your margins can't handle that movement, your profits disappear fast. This is the part almost every beginner underestimates: Amazon ads, also known as PPC. Today, Amazon is not just a marketplace, it's an advertising platform. And if you're not running ads, you're basically invisible. Most competitive keywords are pay to play. Sellers bid against each other for visibility, and those bids increase over time. So to get one sale, you might spend $4, $6, sometimes even $8 in ad costs. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Many products on Amazon are not profitable without ads, but also not profitable with ads. Sellers run ads just to stay alive, not to scale. Amazon itself reports that advertising revenue is one of its fastest growing segments. That tells you everything. As sellers compete more, Amazon earns more, regardless of who wins. Ads don't just reduce profit, they change the entire economics of FBA. Suddenly, your real competition isn't other sellers, it's your own cost per acquisition. And for many, that's where the math breaks. Amazon is famous for being customer first. And from a buyer's perspective, that's great. From a seller's perspective, it's expensive. Returns happen for many reasons. Sometimes the product is defective. Sometimes the customer just changes their mind. And sometimes Amazon refunds the customer without even requiring the product to be returned. When that happens, you lose the sale revenue, you lose the product, and you may still pay fulfillment fees. On top of that, items can get damaged in transit or during returns and become unsellable. These losses don't always show up clearly in your main dashboard. They appear as small adjustments, reimbursements, or write-offs spread over time, which makes them easy to ignore until they add up. For high-volume sellers, returns are a cost of doing business. For low-margin sellers, returns can be the difference between profit and loss. This is why screenshots of revenue never tell the full story, because refunds quietly reverse progress, one order at a time. Even after all the obvious fees, there's a layer of cost that almost no one talks about, because they don't feel like Amazon fees. But they're very real. Software tools like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, product photography, listing optimization, trademark registration, brand registry, prep services, currency conversion fees if you're selling internationally, accounting, sales tax, or VT compliance. Each of these costs seems small on its own, maybe $50 here, $100 there, but together they form a steady drain on profitability. The problem is psychological. Sellers mentally separate these costs from product profit. They think, that's just business overhead. But overhead still comes out of the same pocket. Experienced sellers factor these expenses into their pricing from day one. Beginners don't, and then wonder why the numbers don't match. Amazon FBA is not just selling a product, it's running a full operation. And operations always have hidden costs. Now let's put everything together with a realistic example. No exaggeration. No best-case fantasy. Imagine you sell a product for $30. Amazon referral fee takes about $4.50. Fulfillment fee takes about $4. Your landed product cost is around $9. You spend roughly $6 on ads to get the sale. Storage, returns, and small adjustments add another $2.50. So from $30, you're left with around $4. And here's the key point. This is not a failure. This is actually a decent scenario in many categories. But it's very different from what most people expect when they hear Amazon FBA profits. This is why volume, efficiency, and brand building matter so much. Because when profit per unit is small, discipline becomes everything. One mistake, overstocking, ad inefficiency, high returns, and the profit disappears completely. So after seeing all this, the natural question is, who actually makes money with Amazon FBA? It's not the people chasing trending products every month. It's not the ones racing to the lowest price, and it's definitely not those ignoring the math. The real winners are sellers who build brands, not listings. They focus on differentiation, repeat customers, and long-term margins. They use ads strategically, not desperately, and they treat cash flow as seriously as revenue. They understand that Amazon FBA is not a shortcut, it's a system. A powerful one, but unforgiving. And once you respect that system, it can work incredibly well. Amazon always gets paid. Logistics always get paid. Ads always get paid. The seller earns what's left if they play the game properly. This is why some sellers quietly build seven-figure brands, while others burn out after 6 months. Not because one group works harder, but because one group understands the numbers. If you're thinking about Amazon FBA or you're already in it, the goal isn't to be excited by revenue. The goal is to respect margins, control costs, and understand where your money actually goes. If this breakdown helped you see FBA more clearly, hit like. It tells the algorithm this kind of content matters. Subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns about money, business, and systems that actually run the world. Because money only works when you understand it.